Welcome to the Curry Gumbo Podcast with Nicole and Ashley. And today we are in Chucalissa, Mississippi at the Pynk. We are recapping season 1 of P-Valley. And this episode might be a little all over the place, but I think I can follow along. Stay tuned. P-Valley. Down in the dirty where the girls get naked.
Oh, goodness.
I love that song.
They do be getting naked. We are late to the party.
This show came out 2020.
We are sitting good in 2022. Like, we are sitting in May.
My first time watching it, I was pleasantly surprised. I can tell this was created by a Black woman. You can tell when a woman puts her touches on something. I feel like a show about a strip club from a male's point of view would have been drastically different.
Is there a show from a male's point of view about a strip club? A Black strip club?
Players Club.
Even Jocelyn's Cabaret is reality, but I mean, I want to call that scripted. That doesn't seem like it's female-centered. It doesn't feel like it's woman-centered in that I don't think we're worried about women in this show. I don't care what the fuck Jocelyn say. The character that is being created for her on the show, she seems to be incredibly abusive to these women. I mean, I think that Players Club is where my mind immediately goes. I think because of our age and because we Black, we immediately go to Players Club.
The only other strip club movie I know of is, I didn't watch it, was Hustlers. But I think that was more of like the heist. Wasn't that movie about them scamming?
Stealing money. Yeah. And also like that just didn't feel like a Black movie to me. Like that.
It was interracial, We Are the People cast.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like, the Puzzle Place, motherfucking Sesame Street. Like it didn't feel like a Black film to me.
One thing I also liked about P-Valley is that it takes place in the South. And we talked about wanting like more, not enough shows taking place in the South. And again, you can tell this was created by a Black woman from the South. Because it's the small details to me that make me feel like, okay, I understand. Even the casting, even with Miss Mississippi being a brown skinned girl and her being the prettiest girl, super realistic. Even their names, Keyshawn,
girl, come on,
even their
Mercedes.
Names, exactly. These are names. These are people you know.
I wasn't pleasantly surprised because I wasn't surprised because everyone had been talking about it. Everyone that I know is like, do you watch P-Valley? Why you not watching P-Valley? You seem like you would like P-Valley. I remember I was talking to this guy and I was, I said the phrase like gender is a construct. And he was like, that immediately led him to say, do you watch P-Valley? You should watch P-Valley, just because I said that. And so I was like, okay, so I know that race, gender, more than likely sexuality is going to be a part of the conversation with P-Valley. And so I was really excited.
I heard people talking about it, but sometimes when people hype up a show, when something is fresh and new, it's exciting. And then people hype it up so much that if you see it later, it's like, okay. That's how I felt like with Girls Trip. It's like, it's cool.
Oh, it's not, I haven't seen it.
Oh, well, I don't want to bust your bubble.
Well, I think what it is we haven't seen an ensemble in a film, comedy film like that.
The movie was decent. Is it my top 5 favorite? Am I watching it over and over? No. But it was like, but I'm saying the way how when people hype up something so much, sometimes when you finally watch it later, it's a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
So that's why I wasn't too excited about P-Valley, because I'm like, okay, is this really going to be good? Like, or people just excited about seeing strippers on TV?
That is absolutely real. We are in Chucalissa, Mississippi, a fictional town in Mississippi, and we are following the lives of the people who work in and around the Pynk. The Pynk. which is a strip club. Good old Mayor Ruffin, played by the wonderful Isaiah Washington, who we haven't seen. I mean, I see Isaiah Washington all the time because I'm constantly watching reruns of Living Single. And I love him playing Khadijah's anesthesiologist. But
he looks so
we
different.
just haven't seen him. He looks so, like, to the point where I was like, who that is? He looked familiar. He sound familiar. Who is that? It is the wonderful Isaiah Washington.
Another small detail about the show I appreciated is that they got the Southern accent down. Like, I felt like I was in Mississippi.
Yeah.
Because there are some shows, because I have watched shows where it'll take place.
True Blood.
They say it take place somewhere, and it's like, okay, where
there were people who had issues with the Southern accent on The Walking Dead. A lot of those people who play like crucial roles on that show are not from the South, so that's a thing. But yeah, they got that accent.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them. I'll say sometimes when Haley would be speaking, I'd be like, girl, what?
Okay, now I will say, I looked up Haley. I did not think she was British.
She's British?
Yes.
See, that's why they go get these British actresses and actors and bring them down to the South. Now, Idris Elba did his thing in The Wire. You got to know what you're doing.
I will say to Haley's defense, she wasn't from Chucalissa. She was from, where was the storm? There was
Texas,
and she traveled, and she probably wasn't even. I figured with her, she was like a traveling soul. They say she started in Texas, but I would bet that she was not.
I wouldn't be surprised if she was Haitian. I wouldn't be surprised if she was born in Port-au-Prince, Jesus, and just came here by way of New York, then traveled all the way down. It seems like she's a person who gets in where she fits in.
That's why I wasn't really
just trying to make it.
I wasn't tripping off how her accent or how she spoke, because I'm like, she's not from here. She's not of these people. These people that dance in the Pynk, they from Chucalissa. They've been there their whole life. Their family lives there. You know, that's not her.
I like this idea of thinking about her as a traveling soul, as a traveling spirit, if I can use your phrasing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because the first scene is of her in flooded water. We are in the aftermath of a hurricane. Which hurricane? What year is this set in?
They said the name. I don't think it wasn't a real, I can't remember what they said it was.
It wasn't Katrina. It wasn't Harvey. You know.
So, I think they made up a name.
Yeah. So we see her, it's the aftermath of a pretty major storm. There is luggage floating, and we see the luggage before we see her. And she grabs the luggage, opens it up. There's a wallet with the ID of a young lady born in 1997. Her name is Lakeisha Savage. This looks like a very racially ambiguous person. And Haley she has very light skin. So we know it's not Haley. You're leaning towards like, oh, she's going to take this person's identity. For what reason? We don't know. Because we don't know who Haley is at this point. But to think about her as this traveling soul, and to think about moving waters, and she is just grabbing an identity out of the water, like fishing an identity out of the water in order to escape her present situation. You already know that Haley is not safe. She doesn't need to say anything. But I know that a woman stealing an ID, getting on a bus, leaving the bus mid-route, I already know she's not safe. And I know she's running from something, someone, some folk.
So Haley ends up at the Pynk, and she tries to go in. Okay, you got the impression that she didn't have any money.
Mama had the clothes on her back that was stolen. And so she is going into the Pynk. Was her intention to always apply for a job?
I don't know. That's what I don't know, like, why she wanted to go there in the beginning.
We learn early on that she is a mother. I
want to talk about motherhood just in general.
Okay.
Because the three main women, Mercedes, Miss Mississippi, and Haley, are all mothers. We know about Keyshawn, Miss Mississippi, first because she's bringing her baby to the Pynk to dance. She's breastfeeding before she dances, which really got me wondering because when you breastfeed, you can have some leakage and spillage, and I'm just like, how does that happen if your nipples is leaking? Like I was really, because I'm like
the strippers.
I was really thinking, I'm like, how they do that? Because it come out like, yeah. And if you like how, I was like, wow. But we noticed that with Keyshawn, she's bringing her baby to work with her often. And all the women are pretty much taking turns, and women and men are taking turns watching her baby. Mm-hmm. We learn about Mercedes. She has a daughter that's being raised by her deceased baby father's wife. Mm-hmm. So it took me a minute to figure that out. And we don't learn
that. We don't learn that until like towards the end. They don't tell us, because she is the coach of a regional dance squad. We learned that young lady who's the captain is actually her daughter, mm-hmm. and her daughter is aware that Mercedes is her mother.
I'm curious about how that happened, because we get, first I thought it was her sister.
Really? Why?
Because when Mercedes' mom said something, she was like, oh, you should just, she's fine with Shell. I just assumed that if her mom is saying that the girl is fine where she is, that's probably in their side of the family. I wasn't thinking this is the father's wife.
Oh, you thought Mercedes daughter was with her sister.
Yeah, that was with her auntie.
Okay, I thought you thought Mercedes' daughter was her sister.
No.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
I thought her auntie I thought she was raised live with her auntie.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I don't know what I thought, but I did not think that she was the wife of the baby father. I didn't think that.
But then when you're saying, I'm curious about how that arrangement happened, mm-hmm. because they lived in a nice house. Mercedes went into the house when the daughters tried to throw a party. He probably got custody when he was still living, because it's easy to say he's the quote unquote better parent. Yeah. They probably just say, no, we're just going to raise this baby as ours, even though we're dealing with infidelity on that part. But I can see like a Southern woman kind of doing that.
Saving face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mercedes definitely wants to have her daughter with her. And she even has a room in her home for her. But it seems like it's a struggle. And now, this girl's a teenager. So it's like, it's not easy to kind of like just get her back. And this other woman's been raising her for, who knows, probably her whole life. Who knows how long.
I wish we had a little bit more explicit information as it relates to like how this arrangement came about. But also, like, it seems fitting that we don't, because the whole thing just feels funky to me. Like you said, like, I am sure that Mercedes was sleeping with a married man.
Yeah.
Got pregnant.
Yeah.
The lines of communication between Mercedes and her daughter were always open. Because if this little girl didn't really know anything about her birth mother, or if, she's in the house with this new woman all the time, then there might be some sense of not really being worried about Mercedes. You get the sense that they have spent a lot of time together, not just with this dance squad.
Maybe she probably got her not at birth, but maybe early childhood, 5, 6, 7.
It isn't until the daughter says something that we learn that Mercedes is a mother. She said, like, I wouldn't give my child up the way you did. Like, that's the language that she uses. When Mercedes is being hit with that, we being hit with that too, because we like, oh my goodness, you have a child? What? Because you're wondering, the reason why she even confronts this little girl is because she's having this house party.
It wasn't just a house party. They have flyers about like a twerk contest.
It also seems like Terica is acting out because she is desiring this more attention from Mercedes.
She wants to spend time with her.
Because first of all, let me tell you something. If I'm at work and if I see any one of my students or anyone that I have that type of relationship with doing something they ain't got no business doing, I'm gonna be like, I sure hope they mama or they daddy take care of that. That sounds terrible. She went down to that girl house to confront her, and that is when, slowly but surely you're getting the hints that like there's more to this relationship than what is being
That's
spoken.
why I thought it was her sister, because I'm like, how'd she know where she lived?
True.
That's why I was like, oh, her older sister. I thought the situation was, okay, she had a kid, she wasn't like that stable already. Her older sister, was probably married and had the house, and she was like, okay, I'm gonna have my niece stay with me until her mama get her stuff together.
It becomes difficult to parent in the way that you want to, in the way that the world expects you to, when funds are low, when resources are unavailable, and when you don't have a supportive system. Haley would be a great mother if she had the funds.
Well, Haley's story,
and if she wasn't dealing with,
is different because her child died in the flood.
Yeah.
So
but when the child was alive, it's like, well,
then also
she's still dealing with an abusive
right. We get
partner.
Her and Keyshawn have abusive partners. They have kids, and we don't know how many kids Keyshawn has. People are just saying it's more than one. Even going to like Mercedes' mom, it's like she's not the best mother. They don't have the best relationship.
Villain. I think who's like the most maternal in the show is Uncle Clifford.
Yes, I agree.
He owns the Pynk, which is a euphemism for vagina. That female body part belonging to this like genderqueer person, because I feel like they weave in and out of the pronouns with him. Like, Uncle Clifford is never a they, it's
a she. That's what Uncle Clifford uses she pronouns, but it's Uncle Clifford. I don't know always, but I know the ladies call Uncle Clifford she.
So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've heard, maybe the ladies call Uncle Clifford she, and other folks call him. I don't know. Like, maybe. Does Diamond call?
I don't know. I don't think the police officer that Uncle Cliff was paying off, I don't remember how he referred to Uncle Clifford.
And they probably wouldn't. Like, people like that probably wouldn't respect like how she identifies, excuse me. But I also don't think that Uncle Clifford is trying to be, I just don't think that, like, would Uncle Clifford call himself trans? Would Uncle Clifford call himself genderqueer? I don't think that Uncle Clifford would use that language. But like, the girls calling Uncle Clifford she, like, just aligns him more like with the maternal presence even more. And him owning this building that is a euphemism for vagina, and these women working in this place. And like, he'll say he has women coming through this place. So if this is like a literal vessel for women, it's like he is absolutely maternal.
Also, we find out that this is a family business from his
handed down.
His grandmother, played by
Loretta
Devine, which I'm happy. Like I said earlier, you can tell this film was created by a Black woman from the South, because one of my criticisms of Atlanta was like, we don't see Black businesses and people act like Black people don't own businesses. And even if it's just like a hole in the wall strip club, this was a business that has been in their family for years. They owned that building, even though they were behind on the mortgage and went into foreclosure. This was a Black owned business for decades. It said it used to be a juke joint, a brothel at one point. Like, this is history.
Mercedes wants to own her dance studio.
Yes, another thing.
Corbin he doesn't want to sell the family land. He wants to lease it out because he wants that land and the money that will be generated from the land to remain in the family.
And we can get into Corbin because he is the son of a white man and a Black woman who was the white man's maid, who lived on this cotton plantation. His two half brothers are full white. And they're just like, oh, we selling this. Casinos coming to town. They want some of our land. We selling it.
Their access to creating generational wealth, they have more access.
They had it.
Yeah, they have more access than Corbin.
They live on a plantation. A cotton plantation. That's probably in Mississippi. That's been theirs for like 500 years probably.
Yeah.
You know?
Even if all of them, if their like bank accounts went to zero tomorrow, those two white men and the way that they are connected in the city and their ability to get a job before Corbin is able to get a job says something about just, again, like their position. Of course, Corbin don't want to lose any access to generational wealth, because he knows that if his account is wiped out, he's got to climb 10 ladders while his brothers have to climb one.
Yeah.
You know?
We mentioned Mercedes getting her dance studio, and her mama was so trifling.
Life.
So Mercedes was stacking her money, and so she was having her mother hold it in the church.
She has to create her own church, and that is what she does with her daughter's money. And the way she does it, she never asks Mercedes for the money because she knows that the answer is going to be no. Their relationship is also a little touchy.
Tumultuous.
Like the mother is incredibly judgmental as it relates to her daughter's profession, even though she has no problem taking this money. You know, not only does she use her money, she buys the building that Mercedes is going to buy. I mean,
Shady.
Just so dirty. I don't think that it was always the mother's plan. But it seems
like that whole wanting to become a preacher just came out of nowhere. She did that one. She had that one Sunday, and she was like, "Oh, I can do this. I got $20,000. I'm gonna buy a church."
Oh, that's nice.
Her buying the church or buying the space for the church was like, "Girl, you preached one time. Like, start a little small. Like, how you go from doing it one time to being like, you know what? I'm gonna get me a whole church."
It was so triggering to me. I have never had $20,000 stolen from me. I have never had a significant amount of money stolen from me. I have had, you know, like maybe it was a little $20 or something. And a parent, it might be a mother, it might be an aunt, just comes in and they're like, "Oh no, that's mine actually." You know, no discussion. And I think that sometimes some parents feel like they have access to their children's things.
Yeah. She used God. God told her. She said, I got a feather in my eye twice. So I went to the bank and got the deposit. I was like, honey.
Can you imagine arguing with someone who just is so solid in their position and they can't be moved?
And that's your mom, not so stubborn in
that
mom. Yeah.
Yes.
That is so frustrating. That's why going back, I thought Terica was with her sister, like on their side of the family, because then as a grandmother, like you don't care that your granddaughter isn't like with you guys.
It was given me, you don't need to take care of this child. She is okay where she is at, because if you take care of this child, then your finances are going to be strained, and you are not going to be able to assist me in the way that I need assistance. That is what that was giving me. And what I am wondering is like, so you're going to get this church. You have not earned any money for this church. All you did was secure the space. All you did was secure the building. You need to be bringing in more money. How are you going to do that? You have no congregation. What you gonna do?
Girl. So Mercedes and her mama get in the big fight. Okay, so back up. Mercedes was quitting. So when we get to episode 1, Mercedes was leaving dancing. She was gonna have her last dance. Her dream is to open up this dance studio so she can just be a full-time dance coach to these girls. So Mercedes, on the night when her mom steals her space for the dance studio, they get into a fight, both end up in jail. Mercedes does not have her last dance, and this is when Miss Mississippi, because everyone's at the club was waiting on Mercedes. Mercedes is the big
Yeah.
headliner. People came to see Mercedes dance. And you could tell Mercedes was the star of the show, or the star of the Pynk. And
Yes.
Uncle Clifford is like, okay, we don't know where Mercedes is. Somebody got to step up. And this is when Miss Mississippi.
Child, he was about to get out there. He said, I got to get my ass up out there. Let me find something to wear. You know you cannot climb them poles at all. I need for you to sit down.
Listen, he was gonna try. We didn't mention Lil Murder. Lil Murder is the local rapper who's trying to get. I kind of appreciate it. You know what? This show, it kind of made me, I guess, recognize the importance, well, I guess, of everyone involved. Because you have the strippers, you have the local rapper who needs to get that big strip club anthem to kind of put him on the map. People ain't feeling his rap, and so he's really trying hard to, be a poppin' rapper.
Whole thing. But you gotta love him. You gotta love him. Early on, the first episode is called Perpetrating, and really everybody up in that line. Lil Murder lying about the money that's in his bag. Really, he ain't got no money up in there. Haley lying about her name.
Who she is.
Clifford ain't told nobody he is in all of the debt. Keyshawn coming up in there talking about, hey, y'all, I got hit.
No, she saying she didn't get hit. She fell.
No, yeah, I fell, y'all. Child.
You fell into a fist?
Into a fist several times?
Exactly.
Is that how that go? How do gravity work in that way? What I like, because I'm always looking for a queer storyline.
The love between Lil Murder
the love
and
interest
Uncle Clifford.
Yes, and before it's love, it's certainly lust, because Lil Murder is flirting with Uncle Clifford, and I was thinking like, dang, you want your song played that bad? Is you just trying to like hold yourself out to get your song played? Which I'm like, I'm fine with that.
That's
like,
what I thought at first
cool.
too.
He really likes Uncle Clifford.
And I was surprised Uncle Clifford fell for Lil Murder, because Uncle Clifford just seemed like this strong backbone, don't play no mess, serious about, his business. Like, I didn't see him as a type falling in love. I was like, oh, okay. You like Lil Murder. Lamarcus.
And it was lovely to see, because I think, like you said, in positions like that, you forget the human element of like, like most people want, I don't, there are asexual, aromantic folk. You know what I'm saying? But you never got the sense that Uncle Clifford was one of those people.
I just thought Uncle Clifford was more like about his business, or about her business. That's what I thought. So, like, you're not gonna get caught up, like, especially working in the strip club. Like most of the girls. Because the girls even say it like, you ain't in the strip club trying to find a husband. Like, you provide a fantasy. Ain't nobody falling in love for real.
And yet all of these people are falling in love. Haley has something going on with Andre. Keyshawn, I get the sense that her and Diamond got something going on. Or Diamond, they want something going on.
Yes.
Like, first of all, with a name like Diamond, it feels like that is a nod to the Players Club. Yeah, and then Mercedes and this high school football coach, or this college football coach, is like something, everybody liking on each other. People talking about worry about your money, but romance will always be the name of the game here.
We gonna get to Haley and Andre. What else we gotta say about Uncle Clifford and Lil Murder?
So over. Oh God, I did not give a damn about Haley and that motherfucking square ass nigga. I didn't give a fuck about them. I wanted to know about Lil Murder and motherfucking Uncle Clifford. I could give a fuck about Haley and this nigga.
You know what I did appreciate about this show, and going back to how you can tell this was created by a Black woman and directed by women?
Mm-hmm.
The scenes between Haley and Andre were so sexy, yet they never had sex.
Never.
And
they had phone sex.
Well, yes.
It counts.
Yes. But even just the scenes of them getting close and then just not doing it, or I loved how it was done.
Yeah.
I feel like I hate to say this, like if it was a man directing it, they would have had sex on the first time they met.
Oh, they
But
would have fucked. The only people who had sex was Uncle Clifford.
Uncle Clifford, yeah. So I did appreciate that element of it being very, very sexual without them actually having sex. It was more sensual and enticing, and it was like, oh my gosh, are they gonna do it? Nope, they can't do it. And Andre's married,
of course he is,
but he's still trying to get him some Haley.
How did you feel about the way that they treated their relationship? We learned later on that he's married, but early on enough.
She knew though, because she was like, I think she called it out first.
When we first hear of the wife, like they're on the phone, they're talking, it seems like they have a very loving relationship. I mean, the first time we hear her is kind of a prelude to Andre having phone sex with Haley.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, it's like the wife is seen as a nuisance, and like,
well, yeah, because
he's trying to turn into that.
Because when you're trying to have sex with Haley, of course your wife is a nuisance.
But it also feels like what he wants from Haley is more than sex. I mean, he lets her win the Pynk in the auction.
Okay, so the reason Andre's in the strip club is because Corbin goes to the strip club often. Mm-hmm. And Andre is trying to seal the deal with securing the Corbin family plantation so this casino can be built. So Andre is pretty much networking in the strip club.
So you get the sense that they
like each other.
Andre means something to her because he's the only one at this point who has her real name.
Mm-hmm. Well, she felt comfortable with him, which I was surprised at first too. I'm like, oh, you giving out your real name? Okay.
Right.
So they kind of form. So Andre's he keeps coming to the club. Haley is like, at this point, his private dancer. They're really like developing something. They're going out to eat afterwards. People making fun of her, talking about, they're dating. That's her little boyfriend. All the while he's married. And he's not even from Chuckalissa. He's from Atlanta.
He's from Chuckalissa, but he lives in Atlanta. In Atlanta, yeah. And he lives in
Atlanta with his wife. That's what I'm saying.
He lives in Atlanta with his wife, but he also went to Morehouse. So he did a lot of growing in Atlanta.
True.
So in a way, like, he can call Atlanta home. But I think really his birthplace is Chuckalissa.
Well, the point I was making is that his wife is in Atlanta. He only there temporary. Yes. So he needs to go back home to his wife in Atlanta when he's done with his job.
And so that is another way that they are connected, because neither of them are from there. Like, right. they're both, it seems like they want to be passing through. That isn't going to be the case.
They going on dates, seeing the sunrise and the mountains. I'm like, they doing a lot.
The budding of their relationship, I wanted to fast forward through all of that. I think that the writing was wonderful. I think the acting was wonderful. I was over it. I was like, girl, of course. Like, girl, I don't care about y'all. It just felt like of course. It just felt
like he would fall in love with a stripper.
There was more romance going on in the show in other places. I felt like it could have the energy could have been focused on Uncle Clifford and Lil Murda, Keyshawn and Diamond. Hell, Mercedes and that hood nigga on house arrest. Mercedes and that coach. Like, Mercedes' mother and the pastor of the church. Like, I was more interested in those storylines of romance as opposed to like Andre. It just felt like
it was too heavy.
Expected. It just felt too vanilla to me.
Okay, so we find out Haley got money. Haley is transferring $9,000 to multiple accounts. She's on some type of scam. We don't know what type of scam she is, but she got money.
She going, getting this cash. What's the goal? You buying a house? You getting what you doing?
I don't know.
Maybe that was another reason why I didn't care about her relationship with Andre. It's because maybe I felt like I didn't really have a clear understanding of what it is that Haley wanted. Because I don't think we learned that her daughter dies until the very last episode.
I figured it out before
thinking,
the last episode.
Okay, because I'm like, is she gonna try and get her daughter back? But
I figured she was gone because we keep getting these flashbacks of like water rising in the car. And then she ain't got her girl, the girl with her. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then when she had that, she's naked in front of Andre and he sees her C-section scar. I just knew like her daughter's not with her. And she even said like, I think when Andre brought it up, he was like, oh, you need to be a good mom or something. She was like, my daughter's gone. Like, so I figured out before the last episode.
So again, what you doing? What do you want?
Well, we barely know who she is. Whoever this mysterious man is comes to check Elisa, and he's putting up missing persons posters of Haley up. He goes to the police, and this part I didn't understand. Okay, he's saying, you know, his wife is missing. And the police he sees Haley at the Pynk, and he just gonna go tell Montavious, because I'm like, okay, if someone is missing, you just go tell the person, oh, she over here at the Pynk. Like, what if she don't want to be found? Do you not go to the person and like, hey, you're missing. I don't know if you know you're missing, but do you want to be found?
But I mean,
she was not a child
up there. He taking money from Uncle Clifford. True. I got a feeling that Montavious. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Montavious ain't slipped him a couple of dollars.
True.
I wouldn't be shocked.
But I'm like, does this happen for real? Like, if I'm missing,
probably.
But if I go missing, what if I don't want to be found? Like, don't go telling people I'm found if I don't want to be found. Come to me first and tell me I'm missing, and I'll tell you what to do.
Come to me. Don't ask my neighbor. You know that song?
Yeah.
Child, they didn't follow the directions. Barney didn't follow the directions. Who sang that song? The Emotions? He wasn't raised on the emotions, and it shows. And that's the problem. Lil Murda and this relationship with Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
M.I. Crooked Letter. M.I. Crooked Letter.
So Lil Murda, his song is popping. Miss Mississippi, she's popping. She's getting some social media followers for her dance.
I'm so Lil happy Murda's. For her.
I am too.
I'm so thrilled.
I was. And then so she's just like, so she catches Lil Murda and Uncle Clifford kissing, and then
she sees it. She synced it.
But she's just like, listen, I don't care about that. I care about these Instagram numbers. And this is what we gonna do. We gonna pretend we a couple, because that's how we gonna get some more interest, and we gonna be posting these selfies. We gonna be performing together.
Before we get there, what I like about her becoming like the it girl, and I don't mean to like center and privilege skinny bodies. That's not necessarily what I'm trying to do, but I think that when you think about strip clubs in the South, you think about big booty, big titty, Dr. Miami bodied.
None of them are like that though. And I don't know, maybe it's because they're in a small town.
I think that Mercedes is a little on the thick
Mercedes
side.
was natural. I'm saying not exaggerated. I didn't see a lot of like big breast implants, big butt.
Yes.
Like, I didn't see that. It was more of a natural thickness.
And that's what I liked about the show.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I went to a strip, I mean, this was like years ago. Was it me? I think it was me and a couple of other people, and we were waiting in a strip club because we were waiting for a comedy club to open. And when I tell you, girls was walking around looking real regular, bodies like really toned and, you know, hourglass shape.
Oh yeah, things like but just that. Not exaggerating.
I didn't see like butts that don't match thighs. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I feel like you do whatever you want to do to your body. This is before like the rise of everybody going to get their body done is
I don't think so.
Okay.
People was getting bodies done in,
like
for like the past 10 years. People been getting implants everywhere. I just thought because of where they are. They're in a small town. And even, I remember Mercedes, she kind of mentioned that the reason why she's stayed in Chucalissa is to be close to Terica. And she said, you know, people asking her, why don't you just go to Atlanta or go to like one of these bigger cities where you probably will see what you're talking about. You're not going to see that in Chucalissa.
Like, even when I watch some of the like Beyond the Pole, where they're following strippers in like these in Atlanta, not everybody has body like that. And I think what it does is correcting my assumptions that not every stripper is trying to look like that. Like there are some strippers who want to look athletic. There are some strippers who want to be slim. There are some strippers who want to look thick.
Or maybe it's just how your body is. You're not enhancing your body.
Exactly.
You're using the body God gave you.
But that's what I liked. I like that I like that her body wasn't like super exaggerated. I love that she was a darker skinned woman. I feel like the show was very realistic about the commentary, because you had Mercedes always clocking Haley. Even, you know me personally. I don't think that the people listening know that I'm always like, oh, colorism is a conversation that we need to be having. You know that I'm always like, oh, this is happening because light skin, light skin, light skin, light skin. Hell, I felt like, man, god damn, Mercedes, everything got to be because I light skin. Like that, even me, I was like, shoosh, like you was not, your neck, your foot is on sister girl neck, like, you know. And to a certain extent, Haley winning the amateur contest, her being desired by Andre, her being desired by a lot of the people in the club, even though she's a newcomer, feels like, you know, like there might be some light skin privilege that
definitely realist, even
that Mercedes is right about.
Yeah, because even the times when Mercedes, her being a veteran dancer, will go up to a guy and him being like, no, I want that one, pointing to Haley.
So yeah, I love that Mississippi has darker skin.
She has darker skin and she knows she's pretty.
Oh, baby,
this idea of darker skin not feeling like they pretty was not an issue. Like, she knows she pretty.
Keyshawn's so motherfucking pretty. That shit don't make no damn sense. Keyshawn is fucking pretty.
She is.
Her Derek being white, did that surprise you?
No, because when we first saw the baby, I wondered why the baby was kind of white, and I was just like, why is this baby so light skinned? And
child, I ain't pay attention to not now.
I did
that baby. But
no, that baby was I was like, now I know genetics. Some
babies be coming out. You be like, what the hell?
I know genetics, but that baby was looking really
Soy latte.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, everybody in the show black. Her baby daddy black.
You thought he was black?
That's what's happening. You know? And then he's not some like,
he looks so regular.
Paul Wall. Like,
no.
He is white frat guy, you know?
He look like one of Corbin's brother's cousins. Could be Corbin's cousins.
Yes. And I'm like, what is going on?
Okay. Let's get to predictions. Will Mercedes ever have her last dance?
No. I think she gonna work there because now her money gone. She need a job.
So there's this shootout at the club. Who did you think died?
I thought that Derek died, and it was going to Derek's funeral.
Really?
I thought they was gonna say that Montavious came in there shooting up the club, and he shot Derek to get Diamond off of the hook, and also because people saw Diamond and Derek fighting, to get Diamond off the hook, and also to incriminate Montavious, who I'm assuming might be dead. We don't know who died.
Well, I'm assuming it's Montavious. I think Derek is fine. Haley and Andre, what's going on there?
I think that they're going to try and tease us with it. They ain't going to tease me because I ain't here for it no way. But they gonna tease y'all since y'all invested. And they're gonna be like, is he gonna leave his wife? Is he gonna move to Chuckalisa?
He's not leaving his wife. I don't think he's leaving his wife.
Child, I don't give a damn what he leave. He could leave old girl and get with Lil Murda cousin. I don't care.
Okay.
That's what everybody need to know.
Now, Lil Murda and Uncle Clifford. Is he done with Lil Murda? Or can Little Murda win back Uncle Clifford?
I think he's going to win him back.
Miss Mississippi Keyshawn. What's going on with her? Is she going to kill Derek?
I think Derek dead.
I don't think he did.
I think she shot him.
What's going to happen with her?
She's going to have to find a way to navigate her newfound fame.
We didn't mention Big L. Big L was security at the club along with Diamond. And he was doing something the last episode. He was getting these boxes off the truck to where he could even... 2 shootouts happened in the club and he ain't nowhere to be found. So, What he doing? What's the Big L up to? He
is kind of in business with Gidget's boyfriend. Uncle Clifford was holding his meth for him, or his whatever. He was holding some type of drugs for him. And Uncle Clifford, I don't think that's something that he wanted to do full time. He was just doing it because he needed some extra cash. But I think Big L is stepping in and now he's going to...
He a meth dealer?
He going a holder, something, a stasher, whatever it's called. He is it. Okay?
Diamond. Diamond. Where you at? He and Miss Mississippi gonna kiss?
I think so, and I think that he gonna have a problem with Miss Mississippi faking like she with Lil Murda. But I know this, he gonna stay fine. Yeah, I do. But he gonna stay fine. I know that. That is guaranteed.
The Pynk.
Big L fine too. Don't get that twisted. Big L is fine.
Big L skirt.
Everybody fine.
He's scary, like Uncle Clifford said. He said.
I didn't want to hire him. He's scary.
He's scary.
I laughed out loud. Okay.
I'm excited about season 2.
Me too. And we will be here as the unofficial podcast for the show. Katori Hall, give us a call. Because we would love to be the official recap show. I'm going to say it and I'm going to put it out there so it can return to us. Y'all have a great night or day, morning, whenever this is.
Alrighty. Who's ready for P-Valley Season 2? We are. And of course, we're going to review each episode. So just stay tuned and follow us on Instagram at Curry Gumbo. Bye.